because if I was in a position of power or authority, I would have you all arrested and tried for treason against my country under the grounds of 18 U.S.C. 2381 treason U.S. Code. Whoever owing allegiance to the United States levies war against them or adheres to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason.
To hear the charges for this call, press 2. To accept this call, press 5. To refuse this call, hang up now. To block this call and all future... This call will be recorded and subject to monitoring at any time. Thank you for using IC Solutions. You may begin speaking now.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm okay. How you doing?
Hey, Blaine.
Hey, Rudy. Did we get that posted?
We did, and you know, your timing is impeccable. I just got an email from someone, and I don't want to mention their name because I don't have approval to break their anonymousness or whatever, but...
it's probably not even a real name.
I don't know. I don't know who the guy is. But here's what he says. Howdy, Rudy. I'm not sure if you're interested in seeing the video John Hildinger made mentioning Blaine, but it turns out I have a copy in my Dropbox, and it gives me a location. And I've just listened to, like, maybe half of it. I was just listening to it as you called. He says, I don't vouch for the accuracy of John's claims, other than I know Blaine has more than the 2 felony convictions he spoke about in your recent video.
No, I only have the 2.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know where these guys think they got all this information. Also, the Bundy supporters fundraise near 24/7 for Ammon for near all the guys locked up, but they won't do it for Blaine. There is a reason for that. So I guess... I don't know what's these guys' problem is.
That's
you know?
not true either.
Yeah, I think there are people that are donating to you. So, but to me, it's never about the money. The money is, love of money is the root of all evil.
Well,
I try to stay far away from that. So, anyway, I've got the video.
Yeah, it was only 2. And now go ahead and record this so people can listen.
Yeah, I'm recording.
They also say you stole
and you can post this too because I want this posted and before I get into that. I'll get into that first, and then I wanted to touch up on some other things. But so there's only 2 felony convictions, and that was under the name Blaine Cooper, and that was with my wife for the domestic dispute we got into, which was really a huge injustice. My parents were police officers, and in the state of Arizona, had I known this at the time, the aggressor is supposed to go to jail, and actually she should have been arrested. But they really trumped up the charges on me, and they tried to destroy my life over it. But thank God. The prosecutor asked me if and was able to drop a lot of these charges. Now, I think what's happening when people are running my name, they're getting duplicates of everything, or people are sharing duplicate charges or duplicate things and thinking that it's the same person or thinking that it's the same charges, and they're not. And what they don't know is because, and I don't know if they can even get that information, but they don't see the dismissals or the charges that were dropped.
Hey, Blaine,
most of the stuff I got in trouble. Hang on, most of the stuff I got in trouble for 12 to 18 years ago were just misdemeanors, and it was a very long time ago. But between my other name and Blaine Cooper, there was only 2 felony convictions, and actually, this is stated in court. And so these people are really idiots, and I don't know where they're getting that information. And so my guess is they're getting disinformation from other people who are just trying to do a smear job on me, and they're dumb enough to swallow this crap.
Well, what are the 2 felony convictions? I know you said domestic dispute with your wife.
So
but
it would have been aggravated assault and attempted disorderly conduct with a dangerous instrument recklessly wielding a knife. And that's because Melissa had taken a hot pot of coffee and threw it on my face, and I threw a steak knife down on the table.
Yeah.
And the government said, well, it could have hit somebody. I said, well, it didn't hit anybody, and it wasn't with intent to hurt anybody. My face was melting off. I was pissed off.
Yeah.
And so, but that's not how it works in the government system. And so it was either plead to that or take it to trial, and if I lost the trial, I could have went to prison for 5 years. And domestic violence are things that you don't want to take to trial because they almost never win, because there's no justice. You won't be able to present your evidence anyway.
Yep. You've already explained this enough.
Well, yeah, and let me also say this.
And to tell people out there, and if you guys are listening to my voice right now and you're listening to this, if you're not dumb to believe this stuff, that's fine. I really don't care what you think of me. I don't care what you post to me. That's not going to make a damn bit of difference to me. I made my mark in history. I did the best I could to stand for my country. My question is where were you?
Yeah.
And, you know, these people like to do a lot of bashing, but they don't like to do anything in the movement.
Yeah.
Right.
And but smear each other. And you know.
Well,
it looks like
they did. There is a saying out there. It says everybody likes to do or everybody wants to be a patriot. Until it's time to do patriot shit.
Exactly.
So,
it looks like a bunch of these
but it's true. I mean, they get very bold and tough on their Facebooks, but none of these people that ever came to my face and questioned me about it. They don't even give me a chance to defend myself. And when I do, it's not good enough for them. And to be honest, this is the last time I'm actually going to talk about it because I don't feel I really owe any of you an explanation.
That's right.
To be honest, I'm kind of the point they can kiss the darkest part of my butt. You know, I'm looking at the rest of my life in prison. I spent all my money in this movement, and you know what I got? You know what I got for making my stand, for standing for this nation, for standing for my Constitution, for taking a righteous cause and making my voice heard?
Separated from your kids.
I got a bunch of idiots making bad videos and slandering me and a prison cell. That's what that got me. And to be honest, I don't think America deserves its freedom.
Amen.
And the quicker they all end up enslaved in the FEMA camp, I think it's better. Because then I can go, I told you so.
Right. A bunch of these, by the way, are from Connecticut.
Well,
and I never lived in Connecticut.
Okay. There you go.
There you go.
I never lived anywhere but Arizona. So
No.
It's physically impossible for somebody to get 100 charges in that many states. It can't happen.
Yeah.
I didn't live a long enough life to do that. But I never lived anywhere but Arizona. I've been in Arizona since I was 2 years old. I moved there from Michigan, where my parents were police officers for the city of Phoenix. My dad was a Marine, an honorable Marine. He was also a sharpshooter for SWAT. And that's where I got a lot of my firearm training, a lot of my training. My dad used to take me to the academy and teach me how to do all that stuff and taught me how to raid buildings and throw flashbangs and everything else. Now, this was from like the age 12 to like 17. And I learned a lot of stuff, and my dad's a good man. His name is Randy Scott Cooper, which is my stepdad who raised me after my parents were divorced. I have a brother, Garrett Scott Cooper, who's getting ready to graduate boot camp next month. He just made squad leader. And so, you know, I respect Marines. I love them. Unfortunately, my record as a kid, I screwed up a little too much, and they didn't let me go in. And I wish to God I could have, because I really wanted to serve my country. But to that, I serve my country. It shouldn't be me taking over a wildlife refuge. It should be 100 Marines running into Washington and clearing out Congress and clearing out the judicial system.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Because it seems
their job, they get paid to do that.
Swear an oath to the Constitution, but how many people take it seriously to actually stand for it? No one. And so it's just when people say this stuff and they mock me and it's just garbage. It's garbage. And it's really sad that there's such a poor excuse of a life that they have to do that to people. Well, and I forgive them. Now, John Hildinger, I like John Hildinger. I think he's a good guy, and he's my friend. And he did apologize, but everybody's got their information wrong. And I'm telling you, I don't have 16 felonies. I have 2, and I've admitted that. I've always been honest in this movement. I've always been honest that I never served in the Marine Corps. John Ritzheimer, Manny Vega, and a bunch of other Marines will attest to that. Skylar Barbeau, for crying out loud. He knows I never served in the Marine, and that's when we were serving together at the Bundy Ranch.
Yeah.
And so, but I support Marines, and they're my brothers, in arms as far as the movement goes. And you know, we all made our choice in this movement. But I wanted to respond to a little bit of this where it says, former compatriot turned opponent claims on the most prominent militias. Blaine Cooper sucker punched one of his friends. This is the biggest line of garbage in the world, and I'm going to tell you what happened, and then you guys can take my word for it or think whatever you want to believe. I don't care. But the night at the refuge, Lewis Arthur and his 2 cronies decided that they were going to come into the refuge, and they took Wolf, who's a well-known patriot in the movement, and some people say he's an informant, but I don't know if there's any truth to that. But he's a disabled U.S. Marine. They picked him up and threw him on the ground, cutting his hand, and ripped the rearview mirror, the side mirror, off his truck. Then they came into the refuge saying they're going to beat people up and that they're going to take over and rip the thing down. And after when I tried to stop Lewis Arthur from coming into that refuge, him, Jeff Keegan, and another guy who was about 6'6", 300 pounds ganged up on me. And I did hit both Louis Arthur and Jeff Keenan, because I have a right to defend myself, and for the safety of everybody in that refuge, they need to leave. They're problem causers. Louis Arthur caused a bunch of problems at the Bundy Ranch. He was asked to leave and not come to the ranch because he was taking baking soda and pouring it around the news vans, telling the news people, this is so my snipers don't shoot you. And so the guy's got problems. And it's a shame because Jamie Spears, and this is how, I never met Louis Arthur at the Bundy Ranch, but this is information coming from everybody who was there. He wasn't allowed on the property because everybody thought he was nuts. But Jamie Spears says to me, because he was doing his 22 veterans, you know about Veterans on Patrol, and the 22 raising awareness about the veterans who commit suicide every day in this country, which was a great cause. And I commend Louis Arthur for the stand he took on that. Well, Jamie Spears reached out to me and says, well, you need to help Louis Arthur with this. And I said, I'm not helping Louis Arthur. It's going to come back and bite me in the butt. And I said, I don't want to make him famous. I don't want to put him out there. I don't want to popularize this thing because Louis Arthur's a loose cannon, and he's going to... Well, sure enough, against my good judgment, I felt bad and wanted to go help them because veterans were being abused down there on the streets of Phoenix by thugs. They were stealing their prosthetic legs and arms, and they were busting their cell phones and robbing them for their money. And I had a problem with that because they are veterans that serve our country, and they should be treated better.
Yeah.
And
hey,
so
Blaine, we got.
I wanted to help Louis with that, and I went down there and I helped Louis. And I got it popular, and I got it. I mean, I think one of my videos got 500,000 views in one night. And we got a lot of support down there and raised a lot of money and a lot of awareness, and it was a good deal.
Yeah.
And I knew it was going to bite me in the butt later, and it did.
Listen, we don't want to give these trolls any more time because we got to look forward, not backwards.
Aaron has...
And to that, Louis Arthur, thank you for your stance on Veterans on Patrol and raising awareness for the veterans that commit suicide. I have no ill feelings to you, but you were wrong in what you did at the refuge, and if you had any Christian bone in your body, you would be honest about what happened.
Yeah, amen.
And Ryan Payne was right there and watched the whole thing unfold.
If we get disconnected, you got to call us back because it's really an important piece of update that you need to hear that happened today. And
okay, great. And I also want to say too that I'm not perfect. I made mistakes in my life, but see, these trolls and people, whoever it was, want to keep trying to slander me and destroy my life. But you guys never accomplish it because I tell the truth. I don't have nothing to lie about.
But if you look at the articles, they're like a year old, so don't even worry about it. And we don't want to get...
It is, but I have never had it, and it makes me angry because these people do this to me, and they never give me a chance to defend myself. And I'm going to defend myself this time. And I think it needs to be said. And anytime anybody wants to have a call, that they want to call in and we talk on the phone and we'll debate on air, I am good with that.
No, amen. Yeah, because because you are in prison, your voice is suppressed. You've got to defend yourself, otherwise they just run wild with all this stupid lies. So it is good that you're coming out with the truth. So, but Aaron has some really important update that you need to hear because it affects you and possibly your sentencing.
Okay, go ahead.
Did you know that Jerry DeLemus was sentenced today?
No.
Well, he was, and he had a ton of support from all over the country. And the prosecution recommended, I don't know, do you remember how many months? It was like...
72, I think, wasn't it?
Well, guess what the judge did?
What?
She gave him 87 months.
More than the prosecution recommended.
Wow.
And
then that's probably what the PSR report recommended.
No. She said that he was not remorseful. These judges are really big on the individual showing remorse. And she called him a tyrant and a bully. She said members of his own family hate him. She just went off on him. And that's exactly what they did to... Yeah, that's exactly what they did to Ken Hovind. They called Ken Hovind worse than a rapist during his sentencing trial. These judges, they're absolutely Jezebels from the pit of hell. They got no common sense.
She's from Mexico.
She's from Cuba, I thought.
No, it's Mexico.
Okay, well, anyway, I'm telling you, man, we are at war, and these judges are absolute evil reprobates from hell.
Oh, that's what my mom was saying. My mom was saying, like, even Trump, he can't get a lot of stuff done because these judges they have all this power, and they get away with it because there's no mechanism in place for transparency or accountability.
Nope.
Yeah, if you don't bow down and kiss the ring and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry for standing up for the Constitution, and I really didn't want to fight for my freedom, and thank you for letting me have this," if you don't kiss their butt, they will throw the book at you and even add more time than what the prosecution recommended. It is absolutely horrific.
And I will say this too, that I think another reason he got that amount of time was because remember I told you about if you try to pull your plea?
Yep.
And so what it is, if you try to pull your plea, then you lose your acceptance of responsibility points, which you get a 6 points variance for that, right? And so that's probably why. And she's probably making an example of them. Anybody else that tries to pull their plea, this is what we're going to do to you.
Yeah.
Why haven't they sentenced you yet, and why did they wait so long to sentence him?
I don't know. Well, because he tried to pull his plea, and they denied it. And that's why, I think. And so when you go to pull your plea, they're not going to sentence you. Now, me, I didn't try to pull my plea because I wanted to see how the judges were going to rule on them. And sure enough, they did what I thought they were going to do. And so now I got now the idea was I said I want to see the outcome of cases. If they're acquitted, how could the judge ethically send me away for 6 years or 87 months or whatever? And so
I think his had to do with
they told me to wait to get. It was a strategy. We thought we'd wait to get sentenced until after the trials were over. And then I did, I had to cooperate a little bit because I thought it would loosen my time. But I did it in Oregon, and I haven't seen anything on the government's part that benefited me. And so that's where I'm kind of like, well, wait a minute, why? I'm not going to. It doesn't. So it doesn't make any sense if I'm just going to do the time anyway. What am I waiting for? Why waste my time?
Yeah, no, this government truly is at war with patriots, and if they're going to give you as much time as they can get away with, there's no doubt in my mind, these judges, they're really from the bowels of hell.
She even said he cannot ever be in contact with conspirators or co-conspirators even after his sentence and his probation.
What's that now?
He can never be in contact with his co-conspirators.
Yeah, so when you're on that supervised probation, and I think it's up to 3 years, he can't contact the Bundys, he can't contact me or anybody else that was on the indictment. And the other part to that is, if you even get a parking ticket during that supervised probation, you're going to get, they can put you in prison up to 3 years. And then once you're done with that 3 years, you get out, they put you back on supervised probation. So they can keep you in perpetual enslavement in the system until they just get sick of seeing you. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a YouTube channel called Fisher of Men?
Yeah, you've asked me this
okay.
a few times.
All right. Well, anyway, a stipulation of his probation would he was not allowed to say the word faggot. Also, he was not allowed to see his common-law wife. They've got him back in prison now. They called him a wife beater because he had some kind of tiff with his wife, right? And the worst thing you can do when you have a tiff with your wife is call the police because somebody's going to get a felony, right? And they called Schaefer.
And that's what happened to me.
Yes, exactly.
And Schaefer Cox.
And Schaefer Cox. And also they caused Jeffrey Winehouse's wife to cause him to divorce him. They have a very common pattern here. So when you have a tiff with your wife, they blow it way out of proportion. You get a felony, and all of a sudden for the rest of your life, people call you a wife beater. Nothing could be furthest from the truth. I don't mean to pry into your personal business, but when you had this tiff, was it with Melissa?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Okay, well, she still loves you. She obviously ain't scared to death of you, right?
And like I said, this happened almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And this was before we were married. And we're married now. We've been together a while. I'll admit our relationship has been very bumpy, but that was the only time we ever had a problem.
Yeah.
And we've learned to grow from it. I mean, we've been together, 15, 16 years.
Right. But these government trolls, they use anything they can to demonize and devilize patriots, and so that's the one they just harp on over and over and over again.
A lot of these guys are such failures at life. They have no courage. They're cowards, and then they hide behind
1 minute remaining.
computer screen tearing people down. That's what they get enjoyment out of that.
Yeah.
So
Well, hang in there. I think you're doing the right thing by defending yourself, and praise God that, you know, we can get your voice out, and we'll just keep marching on and be obedient to the Lord, faithful to the Lord. Come hell or high water, we're going to be faithful to the Lord.
Yes, sir.
Well, hang in there, Blaine.
I love you guys.
We love you too, brother. Hang in there.
And hopefully everything works out. How's anybody update with my wife? Is she okay?
I sent her a few leads, and I hope she reaches out to them or they reach out to her.
What about that thing we heard about tonight?
Right. Okay.
Oh, that's for prisoners.
Oh, no, not just...
Prodigal sons.
I see. Well, yeah, we'll try to stay in touch, and if we hear anything, we'll let you know when you call us back later.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds good, guys. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen to me. That's a long time.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to report that bad news, and
I wonder if it'd almost be worse for me because of my record.
Get away from that judge. Yeah, just get away from her.
Well, that